For those of you that don't know, my name is Lillyana, and I was asked by Miss Melissa to share my testimony. So, I've always known God, like I've always known of Him, like and who He was, but I never knew Him on a personal level until it was like a couple months ago, I think. I was in school and I met Miss Jamie Sykes at FCA, and she asked me if I wanted to go to the camp at Chaco Springs, and I agreed. That is where I met AC, and AC helped me through that camp. I have really bad social anxiety, and so she stuck with me through that. And so Miss Jamie asked me if I wanted to go to her with church on a Wednesday afternoon, and I said yes. So I came here and I met people that are now a huge part in my life. And so I want to thank them, because I don't think that I would be here today if it wasn't for them. So exactly 13 days ago, I was baptized in that baptistry back there. So I didn't exactly know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting to walk back into that dressing room and cry, because that's exactly what I did. Brother Randy has played a huge part in this as well, with explaining and helping me understand everything that I did not know before. And so with Miss Melissa Brogdon and all the girls in the youth group that I spend every Wednesday with, I was able to learn more about God and who He was and what He's done for us. And at first, it was hard for me to believe that there was a person that could do all of that and all of these amazing things that He's done for us. And then I spent every Wednesday with them. My faith grew along with theirs. So I learned that most of the things that I thought were coincidences in my life were not. When I was 5 years old, I was going to the parts store with my dad to get a part for his truck. And I have an older sister, she's 18 now. As usual, me and her were fighting over who was going to be sitting in the front seat. And she decided that day that she was going to be the bigger person and sit in the back. That decision saved both of our lives that day. We were driving down the road and we stopped at a four-way. The light turned green, we went, but the lady on the other side did not stop when her light turned red. We were sitting there, driving along, listening to music, and then everything went black. And when I woke up, I was in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. I wasn't worried about what had happened at the time. The only thing that I was worried about was where my sister and my dad were. We were all fine. My father was the one that got hurt the worst. Me and my sister, we were fine. We had no bruises, no scratches. When my mom got to the hospital, they told her what had happened. And they also told her that both of her daughters should have died that day. The entire side that got hit, which was the passenger side was where me and my sister were sitting, was entirely caved in. There was glass and metal wrapped around both of our bodies, and if she would have been sitting in the front, she would have died that day. I was a lot smaller than her, so none of the metal or glass touched me. My mom was freaking out because that's her child. But later on down the road, after I met Miss Jamie and Miss Melissa, I realized that that wasn't a coincidence that I was still alive. And I don't know what you guys would have called it, but that's, to me, that's God.
Amen.
So that's not the only near-death experience that I've had. I have a lot more. But all of these coincidences are not coincidences. You are here for a reason, and God has a plan for your life. Every single one. So later, after we got released from the hospital, we went home, and I used to pray when I was little, because I loved church when I was little. We just never went, but I prayed and I thanked God for my life and not taking it from me. And I prayed with my sister, who I actually no longer get to see, because she lives in Florida with her mom. But I'm eternally grateful that He did not take our lives away from us that day. And what I've realized is that you can never be close enough with God.
Amen.
You can always be closer. And I watched a video that had a huge impact on me not too long ago. It was a Christian and an atheist arguing about God, and the Christian was explaining who God was and what He's done for us, and the atheist was arguing back, and she asked the Christian, she said, how can a God be so good of a God, yet still banish us to hell if we sin and we decide to live our lives separate from Him? And the Christian explained, God is loyal and He is faithful, and He respects your decisions. He doesn't choose for you, you do. If you choose to live separate from God in this life, you choose to live separate from God from all eternity.
Amen.
She didn't have anything to say after that. And she was still trying to argue with him. But he made some pretty good points, and that video meant a lot to me. It helped me understand things that I didn't know before. And I'm really nervous, as you can tell. But yeah, I just want to thank Miss Jamie and Miss Melissa and Sydney and Summer and Isabella and Kinsley and Isha and Tamaya and Khalees and all of the rest of you for the impact that you've had on me and helping me through